I assume, Ms. Dunn, you would agree, would you not, that it would help to stop the fentanyl trade and fentanyl trafficking from coming into this country if we had more law enforcement officers at the border and more resources and technology to stop the fentanyl from coming in? Do you agree with that?
I disagree with that because Border Patrol is now being used to make sandwiches and to screen people and let them into our country.
Okay, well,
So I disagree with you.
So you're saying that you're upset because the Border Patrol is not doing is making sandwiches, I think you said. So you don't think it would be helpful to have more Border Patrol officers who are charged with stopping the fentanyl trade?
I would like the Border Patrol to be able to do the job that they were hired to do.
Well,
Every Border Patrol officer that I have spoken to has told me that their hands are tied by this administration and Mr. Mayorkas. I've been to the border, sir. Have you? Have you?
Excuse me. I'm asking the question.
I'm just wondering.
That was Representative Dan Goldman of New York, a Democrat, arguing with a witness in the House of Representatives. And you know, that's not uncommon. You usually see Congress, especially this guy, Dan Goldman, getting combative with a witness if he doesn't like what they have to say. The difference here, though, is that witness was a woman named Josephine Dunn, who was at the hearing of the Homeland Security Committee to participate in the impeachment process of Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. And the expertise that she brought to the table here was the fact that she has recently lost her daughter to the fentanyl crisis. And Dan Goldman decided that she was the person that he wanted to pick a fight with. I wish I could tell you that I was overstating the case and being hyperbolic. But Dan Goldman literally treated this woman like she was trash. Just so you can set it up here, let me show you exactly what she had to say and why she was there specifically with regard to the Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas. This is Congressman McCall of Texas talking to her before Goldman got a hold of her.
And protect the Constitution and the American people, air, land, and sea from enemies, foreign and domestic. Ms. Dunn, do you believe he violated that oath?
Yes, sir. I flew from Arizona to meet him and face him and ask him why. And he's not here today. I did not know that until after I landed yesterday.
And he doesn't have the decency to even show up.
That is correct.
And talk to you personally.
Today is my daughter's birthday. I would have much rather been home with my poor husband grieving her. I didn't need to be here today. So whatever he's doing, I hope it's more important than that.
Let me say I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Because apparently the secretary doesn't care to show up and say that to you.
Josephine Dunn and what happened to her daughter is exactly why Alejandro Mayorkas should be impeached. She's the perfect witness to have there. Alejandro Mayorkas, who has said under oath multiple times that there is no crisis at the border, that the border is secure, and has deflected any questions or charges about how fentanyl is poisoning Americans on a regular basis, and they're doing nothing to stop the flow on our border. Josephine Dunn and what happened to her daughter and the grief and the pain that she is feeling on a regular basis, that's exactly why he should lose his job. It's exactly why he should be impeached. Frankly, it's why President Biden should have fired him months ago, if not years ago. In fact, the fact that Joe Biden hasn't fired Alejandro Mayorkas can lead us, we American citizens, voters, to only one conclusion, and that is he is doing exactly what Joe Biden wants done on the border. And the net result is Josephine Dunn is now a grieving mother who has lost her daughter. So enter Representative Dan Goldman, the latest bulldog for the Democrats. This is a man who has inherited all of his wealth from the Levi-Strauss fortune. He is running in a congressional district that he basically purchased in New York and will pretty much run unopposed for the rest of his career. So he is the perfect person for the Democrats to trot out and do despicable things like you're about to see. Here's the entirety of his questioning of Ms. Dunn.
Yields, I now recognize the gentleman from New York, Mr. Goldman, for 5 minutes questioning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and I thank our witnesses for being here today, Ms. Nobles and Ms. Dunn. I just want to express my sincere condolences. I was a federal prosecutor for 10 years who charged people for gang-related and drug trafficking crimes. Unfortunately, this is not the first time I've had to interact with families of victims, and my heart goes out to you. And I want to apologize in some.
The fake compassion, by the way, ends right there. Right there. If you thought, oh, that's nice that he offered his condolences, well, okay, fine. Go ahead and give him that, 26 seconds of credit, because now he's about to throw it all in the shredder. Because now he wants to apologize to them for even being there for this hearing. Why? Why is he sorry that they're there? Watch.
Ways to you that you are here really to share your story, but you're being used as a fact witness for an impeachment investigation. And obviously, given what your experience has been, you don't have the background to understand what a high crime misdemeanor is and how it relates to this. And so I hope that you're handling that okay.
Did you pick up on that? I mean, he's pretty mealy-mouthed and not really good at delivering a clear and coherent thought, which, by the way, the fact that he's in Congress is, not outside the realm of possibility if he can't deliver a clear and coherent thought. But he just said that he served as a prosecutor for 10 years. Good Lord. What kind of legal malpractice was at play there? But if you actually break down what he just said to these grieving mothers who have lost children to the fentanyl crisis, he said, yeah, I'm sorry you're even here because this is about impeachment and you're not smart enough to understand what a high crime and misdemeanor is. You don't have the education necessary to actually bring anything to the table here in this proceeding. Now, if you actually believe that Dan Goldman is such a despicable human being that he reduced these women's even existence at the hearing yesterday to merely being used as an emotional political prop to tug on the heartstrings, to make people angry at Alejandro Mayorkas, if you agree with him that that's really the only reason they were there, okay. I mean, it's a pretty cynical, disgusting position to take, but let's stipulate. Let's stipulate that Dan Goldman is correct here. And they shouldn't even be there because they don't understand these high and lofty proceedings of impeachment. Well, if that's the case, Congressman Goldman, you should probably, out of decency, just say, and therefore, I will yield my 5 minutes. Because there's really no reason for you to be here other than to be manipulative and tell your story so that people feel emotions about the loss of your children. But that's really irrelevant. If that's really what you believe, then just yield your time and say, I'll go ahead and defer to the next congressman, right? That would have been the decent thing to do if that's truly what you believe. But instead, he decided to attack these women and go after them and bully them and badger them because he's a jerk.
One of the things that the chairman said at the beginning of his opening statement was that he wishes that Democrats would turn our sympathy into action, and quite ironically said thoughts and prayers are not enough. At first, I thought we were at a gun violence hearing where we were talking about the repeated thoughts and prayers of the 2 mass shootings that happen every day. But I do want to just go through some of the actions, as the chairman pointed out, turn sympathy into action. Because I assume, Ms. Dunn, you would agree, would you not, that it would help to stop the fentanyl trade and fentanyl trafficking from coming into this country if we had more law enforcement officers at the border and more resources and technology to stop the fentanyl from coming in. Do you agree with that?
I disagree with that because Border Patrol is now being used to make sandwiches and to screen people and let them into our country.
Okay, well,
So I disagree with you.
Well, let me just say, despite what Congressman Goldman said at the beginning there, saying that she doesn't have the background to understand this issue, she just displayed and demonstrated that she knows more about the failures at the border right now and about what's really at issue here, not with regard to funding and hiring more Border Patrol agents, but about the rules of engagement and what the Border Patrol agents are actually doing on the job. She knows more about the problem than Representative Dan Goldman and, dare I say, the President of the United States.
So you're saying that you're upset because the Border Patrol is not doing is making sandwiches, I think you said.
She's upset that the Border Patrol is not protecting the border, which is kind of their job.
So you don't think it would be helpful to have more Border Patrol officers who are charged with stopping the fentanyl trade?
I would like the Border Patrol to be able to do the job that they were hired to do.
Well,
Every Border Patrol officer that I have spoken to has told me that their hands are tied by this administration and Mr. Mayorkas. I've been to the border, sir. Have you? Have you?
Excuse me. I'm asking the question.
I'm just wondering.
And the problem with that is that in Congress, this Congress, we have interviewed 9 senior officials under DHS in a variety of different capacities. Every single one of them has said that it would be helpful to provide more resources at the border to stop the flow of fentanyl coming in. And that is actually exactly what President Biden has done. In last year's budget, fiscal year 2023, the appropriations it included 300 additional U.S. Border Patrol agents, which was the first increase since 2011. Included 125 more CBP officers, $70 million for non-intrusive inspection, and 200 House Republicans, including every single Republican serving at the time who currently sits on this committee, voted against that bill. Under the Biden administration, the Department of Homeland Security has seized more fentanyl and arrested more criminals for fentanyl-related crimes in the last 2 years than in the previous 5 years combined.
You know, I know that it's painful to watch somebody like that, and I know that he's despicable, and I know that he makes your skin crawl, but I got to tell you something. I want to see more of Representative Dan Goldman. I want to see more of that smug, supercilious, arrogant jerk, because Democrats love him. The left thinks he's fantastic. And you know what? He perfectly represents exactly where the Democrats are right now in this country. Sad to say.